Hi there, welcome back to another video. So I already have my prep done and I'm just going to jump right into applying these extensions. I'm going to be using the Macart Prep-in-1 and the Macart Medium Stiletto tips today, and I'm going to apply that to each of my fingers. I do have a much more in detailed video on how to apply gel extensions. I will link that here in case you want a little bit more of a instructional type video. This will better suit you, but I am going to run through this very quickly. So just doing my normal routine where I place a little bit of glue onto the bottom half of the extension. Then I give the gel glue a little bit of time to flow towards the tip of my natural nail, and then once it's in a good place, I will move my hand under the flash cure lamp for about 15 seconds to hold it in place while I finish the other fingers. So for this video, I will not be keeping this on for a long period of time, so that's why I didn't show my prep, because I am using a peel-off base coat. And if you want to know which one I'm using, I will link it down in the description box below. Well, I'm not keeping my nails on because I'm just testing out a design that I really wanted to try. It's the whole coquette aesthetic. If you have never heard of it, essentially it's just a really cute feminine type vibe. And a lot of the time, if you search Pinterest, you'll see a lot of pink nail art or white nail art, a little bit of lace. But I didn't want to do pink per se because I'm really a neutral girl at heart. And I really wanted to switch it up just a little bit and try something different. So I saw this design here and I wanted to just try it out because it was really my vibe. Now that I have my tips all applied, I am going to go ahead and cure in my lamp for about 60 seconds. And I'm now going to seal the cuticles just for video purposes. Typically when I use a peel off base coat and I know I'm taking the nail look off within 24 or 48 hours, I don't really do this step. So I'm not going to go too hard in on this, but I'm just going to go through this so you get the idea of if you wanted these nails to last, what you need to do. So if you're not familiar with the acetone hack, just take some acetone, rub it back and forth on the bottom half of the nail. If you're going to keep these on long term, I do recommend sealing the cuticles, whether it's with acetone or a drill, because if not, they will lift right on off and they won't last, or you'll get things caught underneath them and then they become annoying and then you'll want them off anyway. For this video, I'm actually going to be using a base coat. I haven't done this in a long time, but I had this one sitting around from OPI. The only thing about this product is you can only purchase it on the OPI website if you have a nail tech license. So if you try to go into your local TJ Maxx, they may or may not have that. I can't guarantee it because you know TJ Maxx changes their products out like every week and each location has something different. So you may be able to find it there, you may not be able to, but if you are able to get your hands on it, it is a good product. It just has a really strong smell. So sometimes I have to wear those N95 masks to kind of mask the smell and then turn on my air purifier because it is so strong, but it works really well. So if you can get past the smell, you can pick it up. But if you are sensitive to smell, this is not going to be the product for you. Now I'm going to cure this in my lamp for about 60 seconds. I'm going to move on to my base color. So I will be using this one from D&D called Sheer Nude. I unboxed this, I feel like months ago, and I don't believe I've done a look with it until this video. So that's kind of the purpose of this video as well. I just wanted to try things that I haven't been using in a while. So I'm applying one thin coat of this. If you have not tried the D&D's sheer collection and you're looking for some good sheer like polishes for base colors, for example, this collection is literally my favorite. So I have about 4 polishes from the sheer collection and I really do like it, and they are some of my favorite nude base colors because they self-level really well and they're easily buildable and you get even coverage. Plus D&D always has some form of a sale throughout the year, whether it's 40% off or 60% off, so you can get these anywhere from $6 to $10. So I think they're quite affordable, especially for the quality you get. So here's what it looks like with one coat. I am going to go in with a second coat of this because I do want the color to show a little bit more of its true color, not just like a wash of color. So I am going to go in with a second layer. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a third layer of this now so I can get the full coverage and the color of this polish. Next, I am going to go in with the Model 1's matte top coat, and then I'm going to apply a thin layer of this on top of each of the nails. I'm realizing now, looking back at this design, I probably should not have applied the top coat at this point because I end up applying the top coat multiple times so that, like you'll see, I'll run through it then, but you can apply it here, but I recommend actually holding off. But because I want to show you exactly what I did, I'm just going to keep this in here. If you wanted to wear this color all alone, here is what it looks like, matte. But I'm going to start with the design on the middle finger first. And I'm going to be using a charm that I got from Hobby Lobby. I go to Hobby Lobby quite frequently to see what they have. And if you want a video on where I get my nail art supplies and everything else, let me know and I can film that as well. But Hobby Lobby has a ton of small beads that you can actually use for nail art. So I'm going to grab this one here. And this set has a bunch of different flowers and bows. So I am going to actually be using this black bow here. So the thing about using these bows is that your nail curves in some way, shape, or form, and they're not even across the board. So to get these to stay on, I'm going to file the back half of the charm. You can use a drill, it'll go by faster, but you don't need to. You can just use a file. I'm using this one here, and I'm just going to add some texture just so that it adheres to the glue that I'm going to use to attach it onto the nail. So I'm going to scratch it up the best way I can. You do want to make sure that if you're going to do this method with whatever bows you have, that they don't have a backing to them. So if you scratch the color off on the back, it completely changes the bow. That can happen, but not with this one that I'm using here. So here's what it will look like once you're all done. You can see the texture added here from the file, and this is what we essentially want. So next I am going to take some of that Macart rhinestone glue that I use all the time, and I'm going to apply a little dot of this directly on the center of the nail because that's where I want the bow to sit. So now I have it on. I am going to cure this in my lamp for about 60 seconds. As you can see here, so at the top, it sits perfectly on the nail, but on the bottom half where the bow kind of flares outward, there's going to be a gap between where your nail is. So when I turn my nail right here, you can see straight through onto my mat. So we need to basically seal that area in with something because otherwise the charm is not going to last because it's going to snag on every single thing you come in contact with. So what I'm going to do is fill in that gap. But before we get started, you can see that there's a little bit of dust here from using the file. I'm going to clean that up with alcohol and a flat brush so that I don't end up encapsulating dust. Now I'm going to be taking some IBD hard gel and I'm going to fill in the gaps with this. So what I'm doing is taking a brush and I'm just outlining the bow essentially with this hard gel. And then once I have a good outline down, I'm going to push the hard gel right up underneath into those empty spaces so that is like filling in those gaps. And then once it's done, it'll look like this. But before curing, I am going to clean up the excess glue. And the reason why is because I have that matte top coat down. And if I were to cure it exactly like this, I'm gonna have like a shiny layer of glue just sitting everywhere. So I'm taking a flat brush and I think I used acetone, and I'm going to push the glue underneath the charm as best as I can, and then any excess glue that's hanging around, I am going to wipe it off. So now I have it cleaned up the best that I can. I'm going to go ahead and cure this so that the bow is nice and secure for now before we continue on. As you can see, when you move these gel glues around on top of a matte base, it's just, even if you clean it up, you do lose that matte texture. So this is why I mentioned in the beginning, I probably should have just waited to apply the matte top coat until about now. But you know, you live and you learn. So now I'm just gonna go back in with some matte top coat and then place it onto the nail again. Moving on to the other fingers, I'm going to be taking some rhinestones and attaching them onto the nail. So for this, I am going to be using the Coquette rhinestone glue. If I'm attaching a rhinestone to a nail, or a charm for that matter, I like to use the Coquette rhinestone glue. But once I've attached them onto the nail, I like to seal them in with hard gel because I just feel like the combination of those two products worked really well for me as far as keeping charms and things on for weeks at a time. But if you have some other product that you use that you feel like is superior to this combo, let me know in the comments down below because of course I'm gonna try it. I went back and forth for a while, but I settled on having one big stone in the middle and then 3 smaller stones on the side of that one. So that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of the nails. So the transition between the bigger stone and the smaller stone was looking a little bit weird to me. So I decided to grab 2 silver caviar beads and place them next to the bigger stone so that it looks like a bezel of an actual stone. Similar to this video right here, but I just changed the placement a little bit. So they're not on top, bottom, side to side. They're just 2 on each side. So now everything is all done. I am going to cure this in my lamp for 60 seconds to seal everything on in. So everything is all cured, but I did not do the best job cleaning up the excess glue. I'm just going to keep it in here because this is just the reality. Sometimes things don't go as the way I planned. So I'm just going to go back in, finish everything up, and I'm going to go in with a matte top coat again because I want them super, super matte. So that's why I'm doing this process for the final time. So here are the nails all done. I know it's not the traditional, or I wouldn't even call it the traditional. It's not the coquette nail that is going around with the classic French tip with the little pink and the white, but I wanted to do something a little bit different and more my style. I really like neutrals, if you guys haven't noticed already, and a little bit of, you know, simplicity, but it still feels quite feminine to me, which aligns with the whole coquette lifestyle, I guess. I don't know, the coquette aesthetic, I guess you can say. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions and let me know what you think. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so on your way out. But in the meantime, I will catch you in one of these videos here.